So, you want to buy a house here in North Idaho? You may want to watch out for this. Hey everybody, it's Corey. Welcome to the front porch. We're going to have a real quick conversation this evening about the 4 things that you can do now to avoid getting flushed as a buyer here in a very competitive market. You see, North Idaho is a very competitive market. It's a seller's market. And it's not any seller's market. It's a North Idaho seller's market. What do I mean? Guys, this is the most demanded real estate market in the country. Just about every conservative you know wants to move to Idaho, and more specifically, North Idaho. And we don't have the inventory to meet the demand. So what that means is you usually have competitive bids for each property. In fact, the last several months we've seen 8 out of every 10 transactions have competitive bids. So you, wanting to come here as a buyer, need to prepare yourself to be as strong as possible on the buyer pecking order. Speaking of buying, this is going to happen a lot. Speaking of buyer pecking order, we've created a chart that you can download. I'll put the link in the description. And it's called the buyer's pecking order. And you can see the hierarchy of who the strongest buyers are compared to the weakest. And I'm going to share with you 4 pitfalls that you can fall into before you ever step foot in North Idaho to look for property that will cost you deals. So pitfall number 1, you don't have your home under contract where you're coming from. And this is how it usually shakes out. Hey Corey, I'll get a phone call. Hey Corey, we're coming to North Idaho and we'd like to look at some properties. If we find what we're looking for, we'll go back to California and put our house on the market. And you know what I say? Don't bother coming. Here's why. No seller is going to take their house off the market here in North Idaho and wait for you to go wherever you're from to put your house on the market. It needs to be at least on the market, and at an even better rate, it needs to be under contract with a closing date that a seller here can confirm that you actually have a legitimate buyer. So pitfall number 1, don't come to look for property until your house is on the market and even better under contract. Pitfall number 2, you don't have a local lender. And this is important. Of all the things that go wrong in a transaction that cost deals more than any others, it's lenders. And in our market, guys, we as selling agents, selling homes, we look right at who your lender is because we know they can cost deals. You see, the problem is outside lenders, national chains, they don't have local ties here. They don't have a face in the community. Sometimes they don't even have a cell phone that they give us for us to call them. Local lenders here, I have their cell phones. I've had breakfast with them. I've had coffee with them. We've vetted them. We've seen them perform in our market. We know they don't get scared at things like septic systems and well agreements and cisterns and road maintenance agreements. Those are the kinds of things you deal with in rural communities. We actually had a call from somebody at Spaceship Mortgage, called Bonnie, and he said, "Hi, I'm John Smith with Spaceship Mortgage. I'm the local Idaho representative." And Bonnie says, "Awesome." She says, "What makes you the local Idaho representative?" And he says, "Well, I grew up in Boise." And she goes, "Great, where's your office?" "It's in Michigan." "Oh, okay." Guys, he's in Michigan. If we have a deal on Friday night at 3 in the afternoon and it's a competitive bid and we need to get a pre-approval letter and we call Michigan, it's closed. And there's a good chance we won't get a hold of that lender until Monday. Kiss that deal goodbye. The other thing is, brokerages that allow you to get into their wheelhouse quickly, they're going to cost you a deal on the back end because the problem is they don't run you through underwriting up front. They get you into their wheelhouse, they get you trapped, and then they run you through the process. And we've had so many deals fall through because Spaceship Mortgage found something on the buyer's credit report in the last week that they should have found before we ever went under contract. Pitfall number 3, selling your home wherever you're at as a for sale by owner or using a discount for fee broker. It's critical you use a real estate agent if you're going to make an offer contingent upon the selling of your home and you make an offer here. Again, seller, looking at all the offers, sees somebody that has their home under contract and they have a real estate agent handling it. Whew. Real estate agents know what's coming. But over here, you've got somebody that is trying to sell their home in California themselves. The seller here is not going to use you. They're not going to take your offer. They're not going to take your offer if you're using a flat fee brokerage, because there's nobody representing you in your corner. And that could cost a deal. And I, as a seller, I don't want anything to do with that kind of risk, especially if I can look over here and someone's got a real estate agent. So pitfall number 3, not using a real estate agent to sell your home. Pitfall number 4 is called the domino effect. So that is the buyer behind the buyer. Seller's got a home here in North Idaho, got multiple bids. They're all the same. Now we need to look at the buyer behind the buyer, because the buyer trying to buy this house has someone that wants to buy their house. Well, how is that buyer? Are they using a good lender? Are they trying to sell the home on their own? In other words, are they a weak buyer for the buyer that wants to buy our house? We've had 4 deals back cost us a deal. That domino that fell 4 deals back caused everybody else to lose their offer. You can't have that in this market, guys. So that's the 4th and final pitfall that we want to address today, and that is not having a strong buyer for your house wherever you're coming from. So in review, the 4 pitfalls. Number 1, not having your house under contract. Number 2, not having a good, strong, trusted local lender. Number 3, not selling your house with a strong real estate agent. And number 4, not having a good buyer for your house that you're trying to sell. Those pitfalls, before you ever step foot in North Idaho, will get you flushed. All right, guys. Thanks for following. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page. And again, until next time, remember, you can live better in North Idaho. Thanks for watching. Bye now.